We'll dance together.
Yes. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm here regarding health, healing. My journey has been 29 months. Quite powerful when it comes to manifesting what I want. And it's happening. There's been great improvement. But I guess I've come to the stage where I'm wondering, how long do I have to wait? I'm getting impatient, as it were. I want it.
That impatience is a tripping point, isn't it?
I know that.
Because it's an indication of resistance. And certainly it's natural to have. But the key really is, if the processes or the effort are offered in order to improve a condition, then awareness of the condition is constantly in your vibration. And that slows everything down, slows the progress down. So it's hard to do under these conditions. But the key is to reach for the vibration of alignment apart from anything that you're trying to accomplish with it. This is the most interesting thing about this deliberate creation. And the key in hearing this lies in this brief analogy. When you do something in order to affect that, then the fact that it hasn't yet been affected gets in your way. When you do something not to accomplish that or not to affect that, but because it just feels good to do it, now you're on the right path. It's the motive that gets in the way. I'm loving you because I'm supposed to, or I'm doing this because it will accomplish that. I'm going to work because work brings me money, and then the money will make me happy. So backwards. I'm working for the joy of interacting with others. I'm working for the fun of my own personal expansion. I go to work because it's nice to interplay with others. I like to have a point of focus because I like the expansion of my being. And oh, by the way, all this pleasure is also producing dollars. But you feel how you take the resistant part out of it?
Yes.
And so many are now willing to do a process. We always enjoy it when there is a physical manifestation, because the physical manifestation usually inspires the desire to do something about it. But usually the desire is to change the manifestation so that I can feel better, and that trips you up every time. You follow that completely,
Yes,
don't you?
I do. It's difficult because sometimes I feel perfectly normal, wonderful, great. Then I walk past the mirror and I think, God, I've still got a long way to go. And then it starts all over again.
Well, avoid the mirrors. Esther does it every day.
I do.
Avoid the mirror. Avoid anything that causes you to feel any discomfort. Just avoid it. Don't look there. Just don't look there. Don't look anywhere that doesn't feel good when you look there.
I thought that by avoiding looking means I'm focusing on what I don't want as well.
You sort of kind of are, but there's a difference between not looking and looking somewhere else. Look at what you want to see. Here's a good way of thinking about it. It will feel a little off the subject, but it isn't. It's right on. And because it will feel a little off the subject, it will be distracting, so it will be beneficial. So it's like wanting to feel appreciation, wanting to be appreciated. So you're sort of looking around for evidence that you are being appreciated, which is really tricky because people are so fickle. And they're not all that interested in you anyway. And so you sort of have to kind of make a spectacle of yourself to even get them to look at you. And so it's the hard way of going about it. But you can easily appreciate something. So when you're going for appreciation, rather than trying to get someone to shine it on you, you just shine it outward. So in the same way, focus where it feels good. Don't try to take the subject that doesn't feel good and make it feel good. Just focus where it feels good. Focus on what feels good. Focus on what feels good easily. And let the universe show you how quickly it responds to that. How quickly it responds to that.
Okay.
We were talking with someone many years ago on the telephone. Esther was doing consultations in those days. She had much more time than now for that. Talking to a woman who wanted something different than what we were giving. She wanted to know where what she wanted was, and she wanted to know right now. She wanted to know if we knew, she wanted to know where it was, and she wanted to know how to get there. And we knew she wouldn't be able to hear anything that we were saying, because she wanted it delivered in a way that it never works. She wanted to defy the laws of the universe in order to get it. And so we knew that the only possibility we had of helping her was to help her into alignment. And we knew that the only possibility of helping her into alignment was to distract her from this wadded up vibration that she had going on. So we said, we would like to talk about blue glass with you. And she said, why? And we said, because you don't have any resistance to it. And she said, I know, I'm not interested in it at all. And we said, which makes it a really good subject. And she said, it's not a good subject to me. Why would I want to talk about something that's not important to me? And we said, because it will offer you a vibration of no resistance. And she said, I don't want a vibration of no resistance. I want what I want, and I want it now. I want to talk about what I want and how to get to it. So we went on anyway. We said, you know, blue glass is really wonderful. It comes in lots of different textures, sizes. Some of it is opaque, some of it is translucent, some of it is transparent, all kinds of different textures. She was not the least bit impressed with the clarity of our vision. And so she said, I don't want to talk about that. We said, then let's talk about butterflies. I don't want to talk about butterflies. There are so many different species of butterflies. They come in all different sizes, all different colors. I don't want to talk about butterflies. Well, then let's talk about feathers. I don't want to talk about feathers either. Feathers, so many beautiful feathers on so many different creatures, all kinds of different feathers. She hung up. She hung up. She hung up, and Esther came out of the room, and she said to Jerry, this one is going to want her money back, and I'm happy to give her her money back because she did not get what she wanted from Abraham. Jerry didn't ask any questions. They were in La Jolla near San Diego, and they went to lunch. So they get out of the car. You've heard this story before, but it matters so much. They got out of the car, and Esther feels this powerful impulse to go into a shop. Now that in and of itself is not unusual. But the impulse was so powerful. It was so strong. They were on their way somewhere else. So she's dragging Jerry, kicking and screaming, into the shop with her, to the very back, to the very back, to the very back, and found a room that was ceiling to floor, wall to wall, blue glass, lighted in the most amazing way. And Esther did not make the association at all. They just looked at it. Jerry said, have you seen enough? Esther said yes, and off they went to George's for lunch. So they had lunch. And after lunch, they're walking down to what's called the Cove in La Jolla. Beautiful, beautiful place where the water and the rocks converge. And as they were walking toward these rocks, they're walking across this grassy area. And a flurry of butterflies surrounded them that was so intense they had to stop talking in order not to eat them. It was odd, unlike anything either of them had ever experienced. Jerry said, that was weird. Esther said, yeah, it was. She's still not making the association about the conversation. And then a little boy came running across the grass from way over in the distance. Jerry said, I think he's looking at you like he knows you. Esther said, I know, but I don't know him. He came running, got right up to her and handed her a feather that he had found on the ground, that he was inspired to bring right to her because he was one of the fairies of the universe in that clear space, a cooperative component ready to deliver to Esther a powerful message, you see. And then in that moment, Esther explained to Jerry, oh my God, I can't believe it. Abraham was just talking to this woman about blue glass and butterflies and feathers. They spent a minute or two on each subject, and it must have activated in my vibration enough that in this state of non-resistance, the universe is showing me that anything that's active in your vibration is going to manifest, and it's going to manifest fast, you see. But Esther, like the woman, had no resistance to blue glass and no resistance to butterflies and no resistance to feathers. In other words, it was a subject that was clear. And when it was clear and active and therefore in alignment, there was an immediate universal response about it, you see. But there are so many subjects of things that feel like great importance that are not pure in your vibration. Almost nobody that you know in human form is pure about the subject of physical well-being. You've heard too much, you've seen too much, you know too much, you have weighed the pros and the cons of too many conditions, you've evaluated too much. There's too much that's active in your vibration for it to be that simple, you see. But sometimes when you powerfully want something, your desire can override your belief if your belief is soft enough to allow it, you see. You have to distract yourself from hindering beliefs. So you have to goose up the beliefs that help and play down the beliefs that don't help, a little bit at a time. And you've been doing that. That's why you have been receiving steady improvement. Not quick, but steady. And that is enough, you see. But when you grow impatient, in that feeling of impatience, then you're shifting a little. In that feeling of impatience, you're introducing more of the contrary thought. So just hang in there and enjoy the experience of clarifying your vibration. Everybody wants this. This is a journey you really, 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 really want. You all want clear vibration. Do you know, one who is connected to that pure positive energy is more powerful than millions who are not? And do you realize, you don't quite yet, but you will, how simple it is to offer a singular vibration. All you got to do is stop doing the but part. You've been trained to weigh the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses. So many people have been clamoring for your agreement with what they think and your desire to please them by giving them agreement with what they think has got all of you full of split energy. Don't you want to say to the next person that tries to convince you of something, hey, pretty happy in my thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about that? Well, I don't think I'm going to tell you because I sense a conversion coming on. You sort of have trained each other. It comes back to what we were talking about earlier about appreciating rather than being appreciated. In your caring how others feel about you.
I stopped caring.
Isn't that a wonderful thing?
I did.
Isn't that a wonderful thing?
I had to.
Really?
Survive, yeah.
Really?
I had to stop.
Really?
Had to stop.
Are you saying to us that you created a situation to give yourself the greatest gift that anyone could give to anyone?
I sure did. I had to. I didn't have a choice.
Are you saying to us that you put yourself in a situation where you had to give up something that wasn't serving you? Good job. Mm-hmm. Good job.
And despite all of this,
it's the greatest gift.
I'm a happy bunny.
It's
believe it or not, I'm really happy.
We believe it. We believe it.
Because I know it's going to end.
Yeah.
I know it just is. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen.
Doesn't matter. The greatest gift that you could give anyone or yourself is the gift of freedom from caring what others think. Because when you care what they think, it splits your energy. And when it splits your energy, you're not mating with your soul. When you're not mating with your soul, you're not experiencing that unconditional alignment. And when you're not experiencing unconditional alignment, there's some degree of negative emotion, so you're not free. Because the only thing that you're trying to get free of is resistance, you see. We think you're in the perfect place. We think you're having the perfect unfolding. We think you've helped everyone understand it more clearly.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good to get that confirmation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really good. Best not distracts Esther, sort of shakes her out of her. We won't hug, we'll dance.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Hello, so this is coming to perfect time, this seminar.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Another manifestation.
Mm-hmm. So I'm at the point of making a transition in my career from one business to my new career. And,
Really?
Yes.
So So when you're at the point of making a transition, that means you've got all your vibrational ducks in a row and the inspiration is coming and you're ready to act on it. In other words, if that's what we would mean. If we say, I'm ready to make a transition, what we would mean by that is, I've collected the data, I've known what I don't want, I've known what I do want, I've completely lined up what I do want, and ideas are flowing to me, and now wild horses cannot keep me from following the inspiration that's burgeoning within me.
Yeah, there is that aspect, and I feel like, and really what I'm interested in help with is figuring. I mean, it's really been a matter of weeks since I've made the decision to change careers, and so it's kind of figuring.
But finish that statement.
Yeah, figuring where to leave off the one and where to. I mean, I'm already leaving off the one and starting the other, but.
But you see, if that question is still in place, then you're not really. You haven't really completed the vibrational work that we're talking about, because when that's the case, what you say is, I'm going and I don't care. And I'm going now and nothing's stopping me. And I'm going and this is where I'm going. And you see what we're saying? It's and as long as it's a pro and con, pluses and minuses, trying to calculate it, trying to figure it out, then you haven't quite completed the vibrational work, and you're doing trying to make part of your decision from outside the vortex. More from an awareness of what you don't like about where you are than from a place of being called to what you really do want.
Yeah, well, I feel clear about what I want and where I'm going to, and I know that I'm going to get there. That's no question. Part of the decision is, come Monday, do I continue to, do the things with my business that I have currently lined up in progress, or do I say, well, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to trust that enough money comes to get this new thing started?
In other words, what's the difference between wishful thinking and true knowing?
Yeah, I guess I don't know that if I don't continue my current business.
You see, the odds are it'll go all right. And you're smart and you're good at what you do, and you can make it work. And there would be no risk in you cutting the cord and making the decision right away, because it will work out. But in this attitude of deliberate creation, where you are doing the vibrational work first, and then the vortex is causing the manifestations, you haven't got yourself to that blissful place yet. And so there are some rough waters that you are setting yourself up for, that maybe you think you would like the contrast for adding more definition to the vortex. You can't get it wrong, and you never get it done. So we would never say it would be wrong to do that. But we would say there's plenty more vibrational work that you could do that would make you feel much more confident in what you're doing, which would make the whole unfolding of it much more pleasant. In other words, it's like, this is exactly what it is. And we really like this analogy that Esther just discovered about this tractor tire, is that as you do the vortex work, and the vortex or the vibration within the vortex, or the alignment within you, reaches out and brings you a manifestation. It's like harvesting a manifestation, harvesting a positive manifestation. So the vortex work harvested a positive manifestation, and then which just made the vortex work easier, which just harvested another, which just made the vortex work easier, which just harvested another. So you're just on a roll. You're just on this. But there's a difference between that and taking an action that you believe will make you feel better in your vortex. It's like the reverse of what we're talking about. So when you take the action because you believe the action will make you feel better, rather than feeling better and the action just coming from you, that's the difference. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd hang in there a little longer and say general things to us like, when the timing is right, I will know it exactly. And the timing may not be exactly right because I'm not really feeling it in that strong way. But meanwhile, I'm appreciative of where I stand for this reason and this reason and this reason and this reason. From where you are, if you would just spend 2 or 3 days, maybe even a week, just really emphasizing the appreciation you feel about the bounce that you're getting from the place that you are, it would be enough to kick this into gear and off you would go. In other words, it's close enough and we can feel that that's what you're feeling about it. But we would say that that action right now is vibrationally premature. And anytime you take action that is vibrationally premature, it's action that is going to be harder than it needs to be, which is the whole reason you're trying to find a different career. Because where you are, the action is harder than you know it needs to be.
Right.
Yes. Helpful?
Yeah, and I guess part of, yeah, so it's figuring out where to...
No, it's not figuring out. It's not figuring out anything. It's about stop trying to figure it out. It's about the vortex has it figured out. You just have to find a way to get into the vortex. And isn't it odd that here we are teaching deliberate creation and we're trying to get you to be less deliberate? But the reason we're trying to get you to be less deliberate is because figuring it out from outside the vortex disallows the vortex from showing you the evidence that you've already got it figured out. And that's really what we want to say to you. The vortex is done. You've already figured it out. All the cooperative components have already been assembled. You're the last holdout, you see. And the reason that you and almost everybody else is the last holdout is because you're trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out. That's what Esther just laughed out loud. She was trying to figure something out that she had no possible way of figuring out. And the entire time that she was trying to figure it out, she was looking up stuff online. The whole time she was trying to figure it out, she was just getting more specifically all wadded up into a knot. In other words, you just can't get there from there. And when you stop and say, I don't have to figure it out, I've already figured it out, I put my request over there, the universe that creates worlds, the energy that creates worlds has already figured it out, all I got to figure out is how to get in the vortex. That's all I got to figure out. So the question is, do I have to find the perfect work? Do I have to find the perfect money? Do I have to find the perfect purpose in order to be in the vortex? Or can I find a way to be in the vortex and then the perfect will show itself to me? That's the way it works, you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what am I figuring out? I'm figuring out how to go from specifically to generally, and from negative to positive. I'm figuring out that I want to feel good. I'm figuring out that the vortex is real and that it's already got it going on. I'm figuring out that the law of attraction is really my friend that is reflecting back to me how I feel. I'm figuring out that I'm good at this. I'm figuring out that I'm sensitive to emotion. I'm figuring out that my emotions never betray me. I'm figuring out that my inner being is already standing there in the fulfillment that all that I'm reaching for. I know that I'd rather feel good than not feel good. There's so much that I've figured out, but I can't figure this out because there are too many moving parts. So I'm going to stop trying to figure it out and trust the vortex to figure it out. And I'm going to do my work, which is to get into the vortex.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely how my new career path has come to me.
What is your new career path?
Doing leading meditation courses and doing energetic readings. My sense is that I can do that, and I can envision that, and I can start that in motion, and that will. But I just feel like that will take care of itself. And my sense is that my current business will continue to support me as long as I need it to. I get worried sometimes.
It depends on how you feel about your current business. In other words, how do you feel about your current business?
I mean, there are things I like about it and things that I don't like about it. I feel like most of my business was created under the assumption that I had to work hard for everything that I get and, sacrifice now for future gains and all those sort of ideas that we get in our heads.
Pretty much how you still feel about your business, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this business that I've created under duress and struggle will now support my positive endeavor for a very long time. It sounds like a little bit of wishful thinking that you could bring into a more positive place. So get general about it. I've always figured things out. I'm good at figuring things out. I've always made my way. Whenever I set my mind to something, it always comes about. Through the process of setting my minds to things and watching the manifestation, I get clearer and clearer about what I want. I know that I'm an uplifter. I can feel that with every fiber of my being that I'm a teacher. I know that I want to feel good and I want others to feel good. And I've found a way that I can consistently feel good, and I want to share it with others. I can feel that there are people all over the planet that are looking for what I'm looking for, and that sometimes I'm in a place where I have found it more clearly than others. I want to be a catalyst to assist others, but I know that words don't teach. It's only life experience that teaches. And so I'm eager to get to that place where I'm consistently inside the vortex, because after all, that's what I'm wanting to teach others. Wanting to teach them the very thing that I'm grappling with here. I have this plan of this business where I will teach people how to let go of things they can't control, to come into alignment with the one thing that they can control, but I'm not yet doing the very thing that I'm wanting to teach them to do quite yet. But I'm so looking forward to that. I just love that at the very basis of what I'm living right here is at the very basis of what I'm wanting to teach. And so I'll know it. When I click into place, that will be the moment in which I know that it's time to do that. And meanwhile, I'm just appreciating everything that is coming to me in whatever way that it's coming. I trust that the universe is going to yield to me everything that I want, just as I believe that the universe will yield to everyone what they want. I don't think that the world at large needs me as the funnel or the vortex or the path through which all of their well-being will flow. I just want to live an example of how I allowed my well-being to flow. And I trust that once I've really got it, and I'm really offering a consistent vibration about it, that then and only then will I be in a position where I can inspire that in someone else. So that's what this whole conversation has been about for me. I just love clicking into that place where I know it with everything that I am, because when I know it, then I can teach it to others, not through my words and not through my meditation classes and not through my courses or through my products, but I radiate it through the vibration of my being, and I begin then manifesting a stream of people that are really ready, that are ready right now for where I am, that that the universe is putting this together, because what I'm radiating and what they're reaching for are so much in the same vibrational vicinity that we're just put together in this strong resonance where I just evoke from them the very thing that they are wanting to be evoked from them. I realize that uplifting someone to alignment with them, to uplift anyone into alignment with their vortex or with their inner being, I have to be for sure in my vortex with my inner being in order to do it. Don't you love knowing that? We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. This has been a delicious unfolding, and one of our favorites ever, in that there has been so much obvious manifestation on the heels of vibrational work of different people who have been in the audience. Haven't you enjoyed that? Don't you love knowing that manifestation is so close on the heels that you could call it instant manifestation? And don't you want to begin observing the manifestations, wanted and unwanted, as you reflect back the vibrational stance that you had going? Don't you think that this understanding is going to put you in the driver's seat of everything that's going to be coming to you from now on? And aren't you eager to start driving? Aren't you eager to offer a vibration, a thought deliberately, and then watch the manifestation that follows? Aren't you eager to let the universe show you how you're doing? And aren't you willing to embrace it, whether it's wanted or unwanted, as you then explore the details of how it felt while you were generating the vibration of it, and how it felt as the manifestation came to show you what you'd generated? Don't you love knowing that you get to create how you feel, because you get to create the thoughts you think, and that the manifestation will then reflect it back to you in real time? Don't you love knowing? Haven't you sometimes thought that what manifestations are down the road relationships, or down the road businesses, or down the road success, or down the road empires, or down the road improved bodily conditions? In other words, I want to lose 40 pounds. Well, hopefully that's going to be down the road. Because if you lose it today, it's going to hurt. So So don't you love knowing that so many of these manifestations seem like these big pinnacle points, and that what manifestation also means is the conversation that I'm going to have when I leave this room. It also means the way people are going to treat me in traffic. It also means what I'm rendezvousing with from my memory. It also means the timing that I'm going to have when the phone rings, whether the person that I'm picking up the phone and meeting with is the person that I really want to talk to. In other words, matching vibration, manifesting evidence of what I'm doing vibrationally. It is so delicious to interact with deliberate creation. And it is so delicious to interact on a leading edge discussion with those who have decided to be deliberate creators. It is our pleasure to play with you. And it is our absolute promise to you that what's waiting for you in your vortex is so close to be manifested that it's as soon as today that you will see the evidence of the work that you've done here. Lots of evidence. In other words, watch for it and note it. If we were standing in your physical shoes, the words that we would say several times as you're wrapping up this day: I am the creator of my own reality. I am the conjurer of my own mood. I am the keeper of my own attitude. I am the releaser of my own vibrational butterflies. And law of attraction is the master facilitator to match up those frequencies and to deliver to me manifestational evidence for one purpose and one purpose only: to help me in the deliberateness of my creative endeavor. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain expectantly, joyously, full of anticipation of the wonderful things that you are on the brink of discovering inside the vortex. Yeah, good day. That's good. How fun was this? Yes. Very good. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. That was good. You are not source energy that came forth just to be that source energy. You are source energy that is expanding, and that's why everything is established in the way that it is. What you're thinking about from your now me, human perspective, personality, mood, attitude, what you're thinking right now is what law of attraction is responding to. And you get what you think about whether you want it or not. You live in a universe that is attraction based with no exclusion, which means when you see something that you like and you say yes to it, you attract it. When you see something that you do not want and you shout no at it, you attract it, because there's no such thing as no in a universe that's based upon attraction. There is not a word that means no. Every word means yes, come to me. So everything you complain about says, come to me, this thing I do not want. Everything that you see in yourself that you do not like and amplify, you say, stay here, this flaw that I have picked out in my personality. I want you to stay for a really long time, and that's why I'm talking about you again today. When somebody in your life that has a personality trait that annoys you and you give your attention to it, even if you don't talk about it, you keep it active in your vibration, and that person usually is going to give that to you every time you're with them because it's active in your vibration, and law of attraction is going to say, oh, a match, oh, a match, oh, a match, oh, a match, oh, a match. So if there's something in someone, in some vibration, in some experience that you don't want, and you turn your attention from it and activate something else, and that personality trait walks into the room in this person, and it's not active in your vibration anymore because you have been focused upon other things, now it doesn't match, it doesn't match, it doesn't match, it doesn't match. And you're going to think, I'm having a very nice time. But then if you think, that person who used to have that problem doesn't seem to have that problem anymore, law of attraction says, you have a match, you have a match, you have a match, you have a match, you have a match. In other words, law of attraction is very clever, very consistent in letting you know what's active in your vibration. And isn't that nice to know? Isn't it nice to know that just by directing thought, you can learn to activate a vibration of such abundance that abundance will just find you no matter where you are and no matter what you are doing? Isn't it nice to know that when you get nice people activated in your vibration, that nice people will find you no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are? And isn't it interesting that when you get focused on room service not being good in a particular hotel, and you spend more than 68 seconds talking about it, those bad room service people will follow you all the way across the country to hotel after hotel after hotel after hotel. Because the participants in the universe cannot buck your current. You cannot receive something that's different from the vibration that's going on within you. So you say, how do I know what vibration's going on within me? And we say, look at your life. That's it. And you say, well, my life's pretty good. And we say, we know it is. And you say, except for this thing. And we say, clean it up. And you say, well, let me talk about it. I'd like to tell you about this thing that's going on in my life. And we say, it's better if you don't talk about it. You say, well, I feel compelled to tell you about this. It's a story that I've learned to tell so well. And the most important thing about it is I'm utterly right. And this other person's utterly wrong. So if you would just indulge me a little bit. And we say, it's up to you. It's your life you're messing up by telling this story. And then we say, wouldn't you like to tell a different story? And you say, I don't actually know any other stories. And we say, that's our point exactly. You've got to start telling the prosperity story until you feel it before prosperity can be your experience. You've got to start telling the life treats me good story. You've got to start telling the people are really nice to me story. You've got to start telling the it doesn't matter to whom I was born story because I am a pure positive energy being who always finds my way story. You've got to start telling the isn't it nice story. Wouldn't it be nice? Isn't life good? Isn't life good to me story? And the more you tell that story, the more fact you will have to back that up. At first, some of you will say, Abraham, for me to tell the life treats me good story, I would have to tell a bald-faced lie. And we say, tell it. Tell the lie. Tell it. Tell the lie. Tell the lie till you can't tell the difference. You do it all the time. Haven't you ever gotten together with your sister or your brother years later and you tell your version of what happened and they tell their version of what happened? They're very different versions. And so we want you to understand that everything is perceptual. And as you tell the story the way you want to live it, as you begin to extract from your past experience the best pieces of it, as you sift through the now and look for the best pieces of it, it's one of the reasons that Jerry and Esther scour the country looking for wonderful places that they can have gatherings like this, because they're wanting touchstones. The other day, Jerry and Esther spent a day with Tracy, daughter, and son David, and their children, Kate and Luke. And they went to a hotel in San Antonio, even though that's where they all live. They went to a hotel and rented 2 rooms with a little private swimming pool area, and they had their own private golf carts, and for 24 hours they did every fun thing they could think of doing in a 24-hour period. Barely slept, played and played and played and played. And then it was time for them to go their separate ways. And Kate said, she's 4, can we go to Olive Garden? It is my favorite place. Well, how can you not go to someone's favorite place? So they went to Kate's favorite place. She likes it because there are big tables and lots of crayons and fun things to do. And Jerry plays games with her from the minute they get there until the minute they leave. And so Kate and all had a wonderful coloring session at Olive Garden. And then as they were leaving, Kate looks into the street and she sees a very pretty stone. It was odd for there to be such a beautiful stone on a paved road. But Kate reached down and snatched it up and handed it to Esther and said, Grandma, you might want to keep this to remember what a fun time we had together.
Jerry and Esther have recounted that moment 1,000 times at least since it happened. This is a little girl who is remembering from her broader non-physical perspective to look for the touchstones of life. And we want you to realize that creating the most incredible life that anyone could ever live is about nothing more complicated than that. It's about looking from wherever you are for the best thing that you can find and putting it in your vibrational pocket, so to speak. It's about being willing to ignore what is, stop the criticizing, never mind the things you don't want, while you scour your moment-to-moment environment for things worthy of giving to grandma to put in her pocket. And as you orient yourself in that way, it won't be a week before you'll start announcing to yourself things have improved, and it won't be a month before you're starting to acknowledge things I wanted for a long time have made their presence known to me. And by this time next year, you will be saying out loud to anyone who will hear, I know the secret of life. The secret of life is remembering my worthiness and gravitating to that knowledge of well-being. And they will say, what? That is so deep. And you'll say, oh, but it's so simple to apply. It's just reach for the best feeling thought I can find wherever I'm standing, and developing a propensity for that. And they'll say, yes, but did you see what's going on CNN? And you'll say, you know, I watched that for a while in my attitude of looking for touchstones, and I found so few it wasn't worth the mining experience. Television as a whole is worth mining, but there are some aspects of it that are so oriented in opposition to who I really am that I've stopped looking there. But oh, there are so many places that I'm looking. And we want you to understand that we don't want you to stick your head in a hole. We don't want you to put yourself in a cave. We don't want you to try to segment yourself from the things that you consider to be bad in this world. We just want you to activate within yourself a vibration that will keep you from attracting so many of them. And the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. And if you are someone, or if you know someone who's had a hard life, then we say this will be easier for you than for anyone you know, because in that hard life you have created a vibrational escrow that is moving so fast, and your feelings of relief will be more obvious than anyone you know. When you turn in the stream from a place of strong resistance, you feel the relief in a powerful way. It's actually easier to recover from something deadly than it is to get over something minor, because the deadly thing has put so much power in vibrational escrow, and your willingness to feel good is the only requirement. So when we say it's as easy to create a castle as a button, we mean it with everything that we are. There is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. There is nothing that you need ever to be deprived of again. This universe is resilient and filled with the abundance to serve you. Everything is queued up for your success. But you are where you are, and wherever you are is good. So when you leave, what are you going to say? I am where I am, and where I am is okay. And feel the power of that. I am where I am, and I shouldn't be here. Upstream thought. I am where I am, and it's okay. Downstream thought. I don't have enough money, but it's okay. Turns downstream. I don't have enough money, and I really want more money, and I should have more money, and it's not fair that I don't have enough money, and look at that guy, he's got too much money, and look at that kid driving that car, his dad probably bought it for him, that's not right. Upstream, 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 upstream. I want a new car and I can't afford it. Upstream. I want a new car and I want it now. Upstream. I want a new car and I can't afford it. Upstream. I want a new car and I can't afford it. Upstream. I hate my car. Upstream. I don't like my car. Upstream. Nothing about my life is pleasing me. Upstream. Things might get better for me if I just chill a little. Downstream. So what would you like to talk about? We have satisfied ourselves completely.